Bro, can I tell you how I'm filming this video, right? And this is gonna be the intro. I'm filming this video to the spot where I'm coming to the park. I'm just gonna do a walk around of the car and everything right now. And the video is using this, the front facing camera, right? So the way I have it set up, the camera is facing the seats. I'm like, bro, I'm chopping it up for like 20 minutes. I'm chopping it up for 20 minutes to tell y'all what's going on with everything. And it's like, nah, bro. Nah. We want to see the seats. Ain't nothing back there. So I was like, dang, I got to start this whole video over. So, yeah. All right. So here's what's going on, right? This is what it's looking like on the ground and from far away. It don't look too bad. Don't look at the rear bumper, but don't look too bad. Look pretty good, don't it? Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking how everything is looking and all that good stuff. Does it need some more body work? Yes. Yes, it does. I'll get to that most likely around like next year. And then, yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys what's going on here. So it looks good. It looks really good. There's a few things I don't actually like. So this guy clearly wants to show off. That's a Mercedes. So it looks pretty good, not too bad. There's a few things I dislike about the carbon fenders, and just to be truthful and honest about everything, there's certain areas that don't fit properly, and I feel like you won't really know unless you actually put it on. Like you'd have to disassemble your fenders and then like put it on. So over in this area, I gotta buff that out because that's on me. I scratched it a little bit. Over this area inside, there's a connection like under here where there's a nut plate. It goes out and they're supposed to be able to fit on top of another like bracket piece. It's so thin, and the way it's positioned, it's positioned like this, and it doesn't actually match. So in order for you to secure that, you would have to get some sort of spacer, like a tall spacer, in order for you to connect, like a spacer and a washer for you to be able to connect those two mating surfaces. So that was one thing. Another thing is I feel as though longer bolts should have been supplied with it, because once you go down like to this area, there's a like a nut plate here, and then these nut plates up here, those portions there, the OEM bolts do not fit. And maybe that's why they say, you know, bring it to a body shop or whatever. But at the same time, I feel as though this is one of those components where if you test it out and you realize, okay, these are going to need longer screws, you know, at least say that, or just supply them, you know, supply the screws. And it's going to be the same over here. I don't know if you can see on the inside there, but I don't have anything connected inside there. So it's only connected from here and then going all the way up there. Another thing is, and again, like a lot of things might be a lot different with your car than mine, primarily because of how things are designed. Don't look at the engine. Engine's completely dirty. So you see how like this is here, and you see how it like curls up. The OEM one doesn't do that, you know. And then like, of course, it's gonna change and warp a little bit as you're tightening certain things down, because it will have slight flex to it. But I feel like the way things should have been done was this should have been laying flat, because that might hinder your way to close the door a little bit, just depending on how things. But like, I feel like this should have been a lot more, you know, just a lot flatter than it is now. And that's also the same on this side. Now again, like I'm not upset. I'm not, you know, dogging them. That's just my situation. Again, with carbon fiber components, it's going to be different, primarily because moldings are also different. So yeah, those are just really my things about it. Another thing is here. So I had gotten the lights. The lights or the side markers for this, the M side markers, they don't fit. And the reason that the reason why they don't fit is because of these areas here. They're not fully, they're not wide enough to actually fit them. And including this portion here for the back piece, this needs to go a lot wider. So you'd have to trim that down, either with sandpaper or, you know, something to bring it back more in order to fit. But these need to be readjusted. So my thing is, and this is just my critique on these, again, no shame or anything, you know, I'm not dogging anybody. This is just what I got. I feel as though, and just for a quality thing, and this may make them a little bit more expensive, but if they had a dummy car, even if like say, like they had like this portion of an E82 cut off from like a junkyard and say, all right, cool, I want to make these. If they had that, place, you know, their model on and put it based off of that, and then when everything's all said and done, they should put that finished piece on there just to make sure that it fits, and with like the OEM bolts. And if they don't fit the OEM bolts, find the bolts that do fit. Either state, hey, you are going to need to get these fasteners or hardware in order to make this fit properly, or just apply them. That's just my take on it. Otherwise, I think they look great. Again, with the gap here, this is not on them, this is on just the car itself. So like this front gap here, what's going on in this situation, this is because there's certain components underneath here that are missing, cut off, or, you know, damaged, right? So this portion, don't worry about this. This will look a lot better on yours. This is something completely different. Now, in terms of like the gap here, it's really not that big of a deal. I just feel like if the gap was a little bit smaller, I mean, you know, smaller, it would have been nicer. And that's primarily just because of how things are set up inside here. Or if I'm being 1000% honest, it could be just the way I set it up, you know? So again, this is not a bachelor thing. This is just my take on it. I do want to buff it over and clean it and all the extra stuff, because the car does need to be cleaned. So yeah, but I do like it. It looks good from a distance, but when you get up close to it, yeah, it needs some love. So all right, we're gonna try this one more time. Because I was driving around and I'm like, bro, ain't no way this is not recorded. So yes, I just want I'm just laughing, this is wild. All right, so I just wanted to give you guys an overview on everything that's going on with this car. As you guys can clearly tell and know, it is fall, and around this time, it's November right now, so this is the time where I start to like put this car away, and then I'll start driving my other car. So that car, if I'm being honest, I'm not gonna do a lot to that car. That's just gonna be the daily. There are a couple of things that it needs. There's an interesting story with that car. There are certain things that I should have done that I failed to do, so that's on me, and that's cool. So let's jump right into it. So the engine wise, as we all know, the engine is not the best, like at all. The turbo that I have on there, like I replaced the turbo with the Tomioka turbo. I don't remember the model number that it is, but I replaced that. I think that's a really good turbo for anybody that's looking for just a stage 1 turbo and don't have a core to ship in. And you know, because what this company is like, they don't do cores. You just literally like, this is the product that you want, cool, you buy it, in a couple weeks you'll get it. So that's what I like about their company. The few things that I don't like about this turbo, and again, like I can't really say that it's the turbo's fault. There's things going on with the engine that I found out, you know, like maybe like a few months ago, where it's like, dang, like all the work that I did to the engine doesn't matter like at all. Like it doesn't matter. Like certain things, like I'll always think like, all right, this turbo is like taking a long time to boost up. You know, I'm thinking it's the turbo. I'm like, I know it's a bigger compressor and a larger turbine and whatnot, but I was just like, bro, something don't seem right. And the reason is because of the valves, the head on the engine, itself. Like, all right, you know what? Let's even just talk about the block. I don't know if I'm gonna put the block up. That whole video that explains a lot with this car. And that explains a lot that's going on with this car right now. And it sucks, but whatever. So the exterior of the block itself is damaged in certain ways cosmetically, but it also is a hindrance to certain components regarding the turbo area. So like the inlet that goes to the turbo, like you guys will all see that in like that video. Like the inlet that goes to the turbo, there's some issues there. Like it was to the point where it doesn't even make sense for me to buy a new inlet to put in because of that damage to that block there when we found that. So like I'm still using like the old inlet there, but it literally makes no sense to fix it or to replace it, because I'd have to do major modifications in order for me just to fix it. Dang, I probably should have gone the other way just to give you out the long tour. So that's that, right? And then like bearing that, we found like one day, like I was driving, I think I told the story already, but I'm gonna tell y'all again. We found an issue with the valves and the pistons. And how that came about was I was driving to work one day, and literally I'm driving, I'm probably doing like 3,500 RPM, going maybe like 65, 75 miles an hour, between that range. And next thing you know, there was a huge puff of black smoke that came out the car, the tail end. And this is when I had the old turbo, not this turbo now. Huge puff of black smoke. And no, actually no. Did that happen? No, I think that happened with this, but it wasn't the turbo. No, it happened on this turbo, but it wasn't the turbo's fault. It was something completely different. Go ahead, my brother. There you go. Man, like I really love those like pepper, like those salt and pepper beers. Like I can't wait to get one of those, like when I get to that age. So sick, so sick. But brought it to BMW, long story short, and the guys there were like, bro, it's not looking good, my guy. They were like, you know, it starts up, it drives fine, but the problem that you're having, it's the valves. The valves are completely burnt. One of the pistons hit one of the valves, so that's nice. There's an indent on one of the valves. I think it's either 3 or 4. Another thing is compression isn't the best. It drives great right now. Like you can go into boost, but it's like, bro, all the work that I did and all that extra stuff, it does not matter with this engine in the slightest. So I'm like, all right, cool. Now it's time to get a whole new engine. Because like you're thinking, all right, yo, all you got to do is go into it and like replace stuff. I get that, right? But here's the deal. Like there's certain areas, like again with that head portion, you're like, yeah, bro, just get like a new head. That's fine. I thought of all of that already. There's something going on with the block too, where there's like, so I had replaced dang, what's going on there? Oh, is that an accident? Look at me being nosy. There's something going on with the block, and with the water pump and thermostat area, when I replaced it, I was taking one of the bolts out and I was like, bro, this feels a little tight. This don't feel that right? Man, I hope they're okay. If any, like, you know, what's going on there. A lot of people have been getting in accidents lately, bro. Y'all gotta be safe out there. Trucks flipping, cars flying. It's like a GTA server out here right now, man. Y'all gotta be safe out here, bro. And you know, I'm not even gonna go into it, but anyways, so it doesn't even matter, like, and like the bolt hole itself is damaged. Go ahead, Miss Lady, you good, I'm cruising, I got time before work, I'm cruising. That's damaged, and I'm like, yes, can I just put an insert in? Yes. But I'm just like, you know what, my thing is, let me drive this car, it can still drive. I got a new engine. Come on, Miss Ma'am, go ahead. I got a whole new engine. It's not brand new, of course it's used. The bottom end needs to be rebuilt, which is perfectly fine. But the crankshaft still turns, which is dope. I'm gonna just park. Should I park in here? No, I'm gonna keep going. The crankshaft still turns, so that's a bonus. That's an absolute bonus, and I love that for myself. I love that for myself, right? Cool. So I'm like, you know what? I got a new engine. Pistons and all this extra stuff is done. I'm gonna just get a whole brand new engine, and I got it for cheap. I ain't have to pay too much or anything like that. Like I paid like, I don't know, like 700, and at that time for N55s, even with like 100,000+ miles, it was going for like I saw some for like 6, 8. I'm like, yeah, nah, bro, y'all good. Come on, Miss Lady, you good? You go ahead too, Miss Lady. I'm just letting everybody go. I am not in a rush. Go ahead with your big old car. Oh, this lady coming out? Let me just park right here. Are you taking that? All right, cool. There's some other parking. Park by Best Buy. Come on, yeah, you good? Yeah, making people smile. That's nice. So I got a new engine, and I'm excited for that. It has 73 or 76K on that. Perfect, love it. So I got that, and where am I gonna park, bro? And so that's the one I'm gonna build. What am I gonna do to it? I'm gonna do heads. I'm gonna do valve springs, all that extra stuff. I'm also gonna do what is that thing called? I'm also gonna do a closed deck conversion, which I'm very excited for. I think that would be dope. I know some people are like, nah, don't do a closed deck, because you're losing like cooling passages and stuff like that. But like in all reality, it's like a semi-cooling. Like they call it a full deck, but like you still get like cooling and stuff. Another thing I'm gonna do is the suspension. I know it's a big brand, and I think maybe it's something that I did, but like for some reason, like every time like I got sway bar end links, mind you, I do have upgraded front sway bar. It's the white line sway bar and whatnot. Got that. It works great, right? I went through maybe two sway bar end links of SPO parts. For some reason, I followed all the directions. I even went on Facebook groups and was like, bro, I need some help, because the last time I did this is what happened. I followed the directions, put it on the ground, made like you're supposed to like tighten up the top, make the adjustment on the bottom, and then tighten it there, and then, you know, recheck the torque on the top and make sure everything's like good. And how you do turnbuckles is that when you put them in, there should not be any like force being applied, especially because I'm when I say turnbuckles, it's the same thing as the sway bar end links that are adjustables. Those are pretty much turnbuckles. If you're familiar with like aviation and stuff, but you're supposed to put those in, and you should be able to like wiggle them. Like they're supposed to be loose when you get them in. They're not supposed to have any sort of load being applied. So that's what I did. And maybe it's the opposite. Maybe I'm thinking with a aviation mindset instead of an automotive mindset, and I'm just putting them in like how I would in maybe that's my problem. But at the same time, I don't know if it's just the suspension. The way I put the suspension in is how it was supposed to be put in, and I'm just like, I don't know. At this point, it feels like the rear shocks are pretty much completely gone, and I'm just like, bro, I just want to get rid of this. So I might just go to something a little bit more simpler, and I really like this setup, but at the same time, I dislike it. And it's not, I don't know. Like, I just feel like things just be going down. But I'm gonna have a positive mindset, and maybe that's just gonna be what that is. Another big thing is, and I'm gonna close the video off with this. Again, like, I am gonna park this car up for the winter time. Maybe within the winter time, I'm gonna dismantle that engine. There's a couple things that I have planned to do outside of the channel, outside of the cars and stuff. So I'm gonna do all of that within this winter time. So big news, B58J, the bro came through. He flew up from Florida. I have not seen bro in like years, my guy. I feel like I'm just like, let me just actually talk to you guys, because I feel like y'all just looking at my locks.